Good day. Welcome. My name is Dawn and I am a yoga instructor at JJ Par here in the beautiful city of Cold Lake. Today's video will be under 20 minutes and will focus on shoulders and wrists. All you'll need is maybe a blanket folded up. It'll be for sitting on. Of course, you can use it later for your Savasana. Or if you have a smaller, kind of softer block, these chip foam blocks are great to sit on. You'll see, I'll show you why to use it as we go along. Aside from that, really just your yoga mat. So if you need to gather up your props, pause the video and do that and come on back and we'll get started. So the first posture is for shoulders, and it is called quarter dog, okay? So you come into your hands and knees, come onto your hands and knees, your knees about hip width apart, your hands just under your wrist to start. From here, bringing your arms forward. Okay, so your chest is coming down towards the mat. Bring your right hand across. Okay, so it's parallel to the front of your mat. And from here, you can take your forehead either onto the back of your forearm there, or right down onto the mat. Okay, so your hips are stacked over your knees. Just find that here, whatever's comfortable, and allow your chest to reach towards your mat and allow yourself to find some softness in this pose. So this will stretch out. We're going to get flexion in those shoulders. We're also extending the mid and upper back. Okay, so we're not going to stay here too long. Just find your breath. Remember, if your breath gets away from you, if you start to feel anxious, just notice what's happening. Maybe you're too deep in that posture. Maybe you need to come out of the posture a little bit, or maybe you need to come out completely. If you do make your way out of the posture, sit, maybe sitting just on your knees. On your feet, sorry. Sitting or lying on your back if this need be. And when you're ready, join us back in the posture. So just because you need to take a break doesn't mean you can't come back in. Normally, we will hold the postures in a bit of stillness. We hold for time to allow that fascia, that interconnective tissue, to release so we can find space within our body. Always coming to your edge, always coming to that place where you can start to feel sensations. It's a point of resistance within your body. Couple more breaths here. Notice how the shoulders are feeling. This can be a fairly juicy posture. Really get in there. This is not a position that you would normally, I'm sure, find yourself in. Let the belly be soft. All right. here, pushing out just for a moment, finding your breath. If that was quite, I don't want to say, if that was challenging, if that was quite challenging for you to be in that position, with your forehead down, maybe taking your blanket or taking your foam block and finding a little bit of height. So for the next side here, when you're ready, coming back into your tabletop position, reaching forward, bringing the chest down towards your mat once again, stacking your hips over your knees. This time, taking your left hand parallel to the front of the mat. And if you're going to use a little support for your head, make sure you've got it in position. And then finding that comfortable place. And again, once again, finding some softness within the body. So just noticing where you're gripping, where you're holding. So this will be normal. We all have that. We come into a position, maybe we're not familiar with that place, and our body doesn't want to just let go and melt into the mat. But if you can somehow allow yourself to find some softness and to find some space, breathing into the back body, maybe that feels good. Or maybe it'll feel better just to breathe right into that belly and find that softness and allowing yourself to melt just a little bit closer towards your mat. So your forehead is making contact with either your mat or with a little built-up blanket or chip foam block, anything that you need. You might even take your own, right onto your own forearm or onto your own wrist. Make a little fist, stack it. The other option, of course, is if you want a bit more of a stretch, is you would have your chin on the mat. So it would be, instead of your forehead down, your chin. So being very careful if you are doing that. There's no pain, there's no pinching. Your mind doesn't go crazy because you really don't like that place. Better to find a little bit of comfort and not come to 100%. Allow yourself, again, to melt down into the mat and breathe. We'll stay here just for a few more breaths. On your next inhale, start to work your way up, pushing that floor away from you, sitting either on your feet, finding your breath, or in any position. You might even want to come down onto your back. Actually, that's a good idea. Why doesn't everyone come onto your back for 3 breaths? So a very simple looking posture, such as that quarter dot we just did. But really a lot is happening. And we're getting into areas of the body that maybe we don't generally think about, a position that we would normally bring ourselves into. So it can be a little challenging. When you're ready, please make your way up to seated. Bringing yourself to the long side of your mat here. So again, I'm just going to bring these a little bit closer so I can show you what we may do with them. So this is straddle. This is where we're going to start to work our wrists. So there's two ways you can sit. You can either sit in this wide-legged straddle, which will also work your abductors, maybe into the adductors. You're going to feel it in here, the inside of the knee, hamstrings. If this is so uncomfortable for you, this isn't extra. We're working the hips, but we're using this position. We're going to end up doing some wrist work. But if this is really an unhappy place for your body right now, the other option would be to come into butterfly with the soles of your feet together. So if that's a happier place for you, feel free to do that. The other thing is, regardless of the posture that you're taking, if you do find that your pelvis is rolling back and you're not having that nice length in the back body, but you're rolling back, I'll show you the side view here so you can see what I'm talking about. If you're not able to sit up kind of straight, but you're rolling back and curving the back, then maybe you need to sit on something. So taking that blanket, different heights for whatever, or taking a foam block and just sitting on that. Just on the edge of it. So you're not, sitting up like you're sitting in a chair, but you're sitting on the edge of it. Your sits bones are actually off the front of that. And this will help you to find that more neutral position. Okay, so with or without the support, allowing yourself to remain in straddle for just another breath here. Or in the butterfly, that's fine as well. Bring your arms out front, just right up in front of you. So the top of your hands are up. Your palms are facing towards the floor. And from here, bringing the fingers down, pointing the fingers towards the floor and making your way onto the top of your hands. So a little bit of weight. We're not pushing into them, but we are putting some weight onto that. So noticing where you feel that. Again, simple enough, but really quite challenging. So you might notice that maybe you don't get the full back of your hands on the mat. That's okay. Your fingers pointing down, you come down. Maybe the wrists are up, but you're really feeling a lot right here. Maybe you can bring them a bit closer to your body and get a bit more onto the back of the hands. Put a little pressure on them. Again, noticing your breath. Sending the breath where you need it. Right now, the main focus for me is really the wrists, so the back of my wrists, and up the forearm here, the front of that forearm, or that side of the forearm, on both sides, both hands, I should say, both forearms. So another thing that's just something to think about is, in your position, your straddle, or in your butterfly, are you more on one side than the other? Are you putting more weight into one hand or the other? So noticing that both sits bones are nice, equally weighted. All right, a couple more breaths here. And release. Shake it out. Maybe pushing. Whatever feels good. I like to shake out my hands after. Again, just remaining, putting your hands wherever you want, however you want. Staying here for a couple more breaths. Enjoying your straddle posture. Enjoying that opening in the hips. Beautiful. Again, hands out. This time, palms up. Okay? So now you're bringing your fingers down towards the mat and maybe bringing them in a bit. And then we're going to press down into the palms, okay? So again, simple, looks nice and easy, very, not a lot going on here, but really, this is very, very challenging for some of us. And again, now I feel it, you know, the inside here, my forearm, all the way up. So maybe it differs depending on where I put it. Again, making sure I've got equal weight on each side. Maybe it's not all the way down. Maybe you're here. Maybe your palm doesn't make it all the way down. You're feeling a great stretch. That's great. That's good. You go where you need to go, breathing into it, using the breath to find some opening. If you are in the butterfly, your hands could be out here, but I think it might be more comfortable on the inside in that little diamond shape that you've formed with your legs and your feet. So I don't find this as comfortable. I don't get as much of a stretch, but if you know, you need to listen to your body. If straddle isn't good for you, or if it's too much of a stretch being in straddle and putting your weight into those wrists, then it's really fine to come into the butterfly. A few more breaths here. All right, slowly releasing that, shaking them out, maybe turning the wrists, maybe just giving them a little shake. Again, maybe pushing out, noticing what might feel good. All right. So I did want to show you one other way you could do those stretches in the wrists. So if this is really uncomfortable for you, maybe just not so accessible in no matter what position here. The other thing you could do is your hands out, and you do one hand at a time. So let's just say your left hand, your palm facing down. Let those fingers come down towards the floor, and then just press on the back of that hand. Okay, and noticing where you feel it, and is that different? Do you feel it differently than when you use the floor as your pressure point there? So there's that, on both sides, of course, and you would hold that for a couple minutes if you can. If you can only go for 30 seconds or, you know, so many breaths, that's okay to shake it out, like I said, and then to come back. Always come back. See if you can build up that way. And then the other way, of course, palms up, and then pressing into the palm. Okay? Sides. All right, and shaking that out. Beautiful. So for the remainder of our time here, maybe just let yourself have a little savasana. Absorb everything we did. If you do have an eye pillow, I didn't cue you earlier to grab one, you could go grab it now, or any little something to cover up. If you have the lights on in your place here, lie down, release, let everything go, and enjoy. So staying in your savasana, in your little posture, corpse pose, your resting posture, for as long as you can, as long as you need to. Thank you so much for joining me today, working the shoulders and working our wrists. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much. Namaste.